someone from my hometown of literally less than 2,000 people that I know made one TikTok video. He's a country music star. I'm super excited to get into this video because the person we'll be talking about, which, spoiler alert, is Hubslife on TikTok. I just wanted to say that the reason that I'm talking about this topic is not because I feel like I'm coming necessarily with a bunch of nuanced information. What has happened and what people are commentating on is pretty agreed upon when it comes to the masses of everyone's opinions on the internet. However, I am making this video because I actually feel a little bit different than some of the people that I've seen commenting on this specific situation. So this video could get a little bit heated because I do have a different opinion than some of the other people I've seen commentating on this very specific thing. I am curious about what you guys think and if you agree with me or if you agree with most of the people, what they have to say about Hubslife and his transition on TikTok. So without further ado, let's get into it. My husband and I spend a lot of time talking about social media and the life-changing effect that it can have on people. As someone who works at a pretty boring job, I often dream about what it might look like to be an influencer. And the reason that I think about this often is because more and more every day, I start to see people that are very similar to me with normal job, or even a lot of times mothers, I'm not a mother yet, that end up going from this very normal lifestyle to becoming an influencer. And obviously the money of it all and just the way that it can change someone's life is extremely intriguing, really fun to analyze. And with the emergence of TikTok, things have really changed on what people really want to watch as content. You know, back in the day, content used to be really about entertaining people and doing it kind of in a crazy way. If you guys remember Fred or Jenna Marbles, that stuff is super entertaining, but it's not super realistic. And then we have the emergence of vlogging and family vloggers, and on TikTok, that part has become even more bigger than I think it ever was. So this left me wondering what it might look like for me. And then my husband brought up someone in particular, someone who is under a lot of spotlight right now, Hubslife. And the reason my husband brought him up to me is because we were talking about what would we make as content. I follow a guy that literally all he does is show himself going from his 9 to 5 every single day. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, he's got a bunch of followers and people love this guy because he's just being a normal person. He just records himself going to his 9 to 5 job and then he comes home and people love to watch that. The reason that I knew that he was under controversy was, again, my husband came to me one day and was like, I'm really mad. And I was like, okay, what's wrong? And he said, Hubslife, that guy that I follow that just shows his everyday life, finally quit his job and people are mad at him for pursuing a career on the internet. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And I, again, didn't think much of it because I kind of find his content a little boring, but I'll get into that more later. But then I started seeing it show up on the creators that I watch, and it made me realize that there is a bigger conversation that is happening around Hubslife and his transition into being an influencer, because this is something that we're starting to see all the time. Hubslife is a TikTok creator with 900K followers, and I actually believe at one point he had 1 million, but then with this controversy he might have lost followers. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was his Instagram. Either way, it doesn't really matter. He's got a lot of followers. He makes content, like I said, about his 9 to 5 job, and he has spent a lot of time talking about how having a 9 to 5 job was a good thing and people shouldn't feel bad for doing the mundane. And this sentiment really took to people on social media, like I said. So his content, in my opinion, is boring. I think that I would have crossed his content, been like, okay, I understand what you're trying to say, I agree with it, but I wouldn't have watched it. And so I'm going to show content for a little bit. I'm going to show the content that he normally has. It's not offensive to say that what he was doing was not out of this realm creative. He was just showing his 9 to 5 job, which can be very mundane and normal. Overall, he was able to gain a good following of people who felt like-minded. Tons of people left comments saying thank you so much for this. Hey guys, it's me from the future, and I just wanted to say that I went back to check Hub's comments to put them in the video to show you what people were saying, and they actually were removed on all of his videos, which I think is pretty telling to how people felt after the controversy. this because I also worked a 9-to-5 job, and there's so much goodness that comes with like a 9-to-5 job, having, the consistent income typically, or having 401ks, retirement, a lot of those things that you can't be getting as an influencer as easy as if you were working a 9-to-5. But then all of a sudden, dun dun dun, Hubslife decides to come on and say, hey, after making all these videos telling you guys not to quit your 9-to-5 jobs, and also preaching that he would never quit his 9-to-5 jobs, he's like, actually, bet I'm going to do exactly what I said I'm not going to do. I'm going to go out here on a limb and decide to quit my 9-to-5 job. And he decided to put this out on the internet. And this made people mad, which is why there's so many creators right now making content about him. Because the very thing that he said he would never do, like he literally made videos or he commented back to people a lot saying like, I would never quit my 9-to-5 job. It gives me stability and there's nothing wrong with having one. And he made it very known that he would never do that. And it's not insane for people to have been angry at him for this shift because they felt like one of their own was literally jumping ship. Like someone that they looked up to was leaving. I will say that I'm not going to ignore the fact that there is proof that he was lying and kind of the shift that he took after deciding to not do 9-to-5 content anymore. Because he said he was doing 9-to-5 content, but then come to find out he was actually just renting an office space. Basically, he tried to hide the fact that when he left his old job, he was just going to go to another 9-to-5 job. And he did this by not specifically ever saying what he was doing in the next job. And then people kind of caught on to it and was like, are you doing that? And then he fessed up and said, no, I'm going to actually be an influencer. But the problem with that is not only did Hubslife say that he would never quit his 9-to-5 for being an influencer, but he actually has experience with being an influencer or being in social media content creation. He used to do that. And he said that he quit that because he didn't enjoy the inconsistency of having that job. And that's why he went to a stable 9-to-5 job. So it just, none of it makes any sense. And so the things that he was caught lying about was like just kind of dumb stuff where he said he was going to like Chipotle in the gym at a certain time and then the clock in his car would say that it was an hour earlier. Or so just small little things like that are irritating when you're looking at someone who you thought was honest. I personally find the hate from him quitting his 9-to-5 to being an influencer a little unwarranted. Okay, please don't be mad at me because I have this opinion, but hear me out, okay? Because no one else that's talked about this has brought this up. That is the opinion that I have. I have two opinions, and one of those is that I don't think he's an honest person, and I think the person that he is underneath his social media persona is a liar. And so with that being said, keep that in mind when I going in to talk about how I think it's kind of unwarranted why people are mad at him. But I want you to take a second to remove Hubslife from the conversation and talk about why the real reason people are actually mad at him. And that is because he quit his 9-to-5 to be an influencer. Like, it's one thing to be mad at him for lying and not staying true to who he said he was. But I think the real reason people are mad is because they didn't want him to become an influencer, because people liked the idea that he was working a 9-to-5 because it was relatable. But I think that that's unwarranted because becoming an influencer can change your life. The truth is, social media pays so much more than any other job out there for doing virtually nothing. And after a lot of time, content creation becomes so easy for people that it almost feels illegal, the amount of money some people are making. And a lot of people commenting on Hubs are influencers themselves. Those people that I mentioned are making money on YouTube being commentary YouTubers. And so in a way, they are influencers. So I think it's odd when they agree with the 9-to-5er people because they are making money from doing internet content. And so it's like, if you think that it wouldn't be worth it and it would be better to get a 9-to-5 job, then why are you doing the job? And the answer might be a bunch of different things. It might be creative for them. They might love it. But when it comes down to why he quit, I can imagine it's probably for the same reasons. So I'm going to offer my perspective as somebody who works a very regular job. I make less than $30,000 a year. And I actually do want to become a YouTuber. That's why I'm here. I'm just a regular gal, and I want to make money on YouTube one day. So when I see someone like Hubslife quit his regular job to become an influencer, I get inspired because that's me. That's who I want to be one day. And if you're someone who's struggling in life to find purpose and you want to make more money to survive this life that is extremely hard to live right now, the economy is insane, and then I can see why he would quit his 9-to-5 job. Hard truth is, and you might disagree, let me know, the only thing a 9-to-5 job offers that an online content creation job doesn't, a regular schedule typically, but let's be honest, teachers, they work outside their schedule. People who work in an office, they probably get texted when they're not at work. I know every job that I've ever worked, I've had to work even in my home. So, and I do regular jobs. Like, I'm not doing an office job. I don't have an office job. I work a very boring job. Those are really the only different things, like 401k, insurance, and a regular schedule. Sometimes not all jobs offer that. My job has insurance. It's not worth it to pay it. I get time off, but a very limited amount of time. And yes, I have a regular schedule, but like I said before, that doesn't mean I'm not working at home sometimes. So when you compare that to someone who's an influencer, and the kind of grind that they do, but the money they get in return for that, it sort of feels like sometimes when you're watching that content that you're sort of like weirdly missing out. How could a mommy vlogger who just literally makes food and feeds her kids on my phone be making $5,000 in a video when I don't make $5,000? I make $5,000 in 5 months. Why wouldn't I want that? And obviously, I'm aware that being an influencer, the money aspect of it isn't consistent always because you have to rely on other people to pay you. However, there is money that some people, if they're smart and they invest and they are well educated about money, some of them won't ever run out. Also, and what I hope for in my YouTube career is that I make money that I would literally never get at a 9-to-5 job. And that possibility isn't extremely unrealistic. I mean, obviously the algorithm and everything can be kind of crazy, but the truth is, it's not like it's 1 in a million chance that I could do this as a career. People do it every day. And I say that because there are people, and when I say people, children who make content that are making millions of dollars being children on the internet. And I don't agree with that. Child exploitation, it don't belong here on this channel. However, I don't think a lot of people realize how much money can be made on YouTube. It's money that most people don't even make in a year, including myself. And what makes the internet so great is that it's free. Right now, all you are paying is your time to watch. Most of us make time to be entertained, especially if all we have to do is get on an app. So why is it so wrong that he would want to jump the ship of being a 9-to-5 person to going into being an influencer? And so that's why I just can't understand the hate. It feels almost insane to not try to make money on the internet. And money isn't everything. And yes, there is a dark side to influencing, because if you make it your entire life just about money and being an influencer, it starts to become staged for clicks and not you actually going on and living your real life. So that's why having a purpose to your channel or your job online is so important. So with Hubslife, I believe that if he had made it clear from the very beginning that this is what he wanted to do, that he wanted to record his 9-to-5 life so that he could one day quit it to change his family's life, I don't think people would be as angry, because I see people do this all the time. I'm just gonna pose a question for you. If someone came to you and said, here's $10,000, will you post one sponsorship video? Would you not do it? Like, even if he never quit his 9-to-5 job, I don't know why he would, unless the content creation, which again, boring, it's not really like hard content to make. So I don't know why he quit in the first place, because I'm like, did you just quit so you could go to the gym longer? Or did you quit because all your content creating was taking up so much time? Because from what his new content is showing us, he's not doing anything. So it's like, why would you quit your 9-to-5 when it doesn't take that much to do those videos? And if you truly love what you do, you have no problem with your 9-to-5 job. When you see someone succeed, like my husband with Hubslife, he doesn't know about the lying yet because we haven't talked about it since. And if he's gonna watch this video, hi, he's a liar. But his sentiment was like, why are people upset? Why are they not happy for him for bettering his life? And I totally agree. But if you have hurt or hate for him, it makes me wonder, then are you actually just upset at the life that you're living? And listen, not everyone can be an influencer. Like I said, it's not going to work out for everybody. And having a 9-to-5 job, there's nothing wrong with it. I love my job, but it's extremely boring and gives me no purpose. The thing that I do every day, I do because it makes me mentally okay. But does it make me happy? It doesn't make me unhappy. But why wouldn't I strive to be happier? Why wouldn't I strive to make my life better one day for me and my husband? So the point that I'm trying to make is that I agree there is a valid reason to be upset at Hubs for lying and selling this facade that deep down he didn't really agree with, because authentic is what people crave. They don't want someone that's going to lie to them. But at the surface, people are mad because he became an influencer and sold out. And even though money isn't everything, it is life-changing. And you can be happy and successful. I would hope that for literally everybody, even you right now watching this. Let this be inspiration that you should always put yourself out there, because you never know what could happen. For example, someone from my hometown of literally less than 2,000 people that I know made one TikTok video. He's a country music star. He put himself out there and now he's literally a country music star. And it's mind-blowing, but you want to know what happened? He just put himself out there. He just was himself. He just sang, and he's a music star. It can happen to you. Don't give up. Don't just say, oh, I'm never going to try. If you want your life to change, you have to try to make your life change. So yeah, money won't buy you happiness or love, but it will put a roof over your head. It will make it to where you never have to check your bank account, because you don't have to worry about the number in there. And if it means that your kids one day could live a life that they would never get if you just stayed working your normal job, that is valuable. That is amazing. And the truth is, it's only a button away for most people. And are we really going to be upset at someone for trying it? I don't know if Hubslife is going to survive. I don't know if Connor is entertaining enough on his own. Only time will tell. The reason that I'm making this video is because I just want to say that no one should be angry at him for bettering his life. Totally valid for being upset for what he did. I've said it so many times in this video. The truth is, you should just do whatever the heck that you want that makes you happy. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. I love you, someone loves you, and God loves you. Go in peace. Bye.